Okay, guys, so we've looked briefly at some of the given circumstances that we know so far, and you kind of explored what the playwright has given you, both in the duologue segment you've got and the whole play. So we know it's October 2014, it's a bright day. How long have you two known each other, character-wise? How long have you two known each other, do you think? Not long. It doesn't implicitly say, but it implies that it's only been a short amount of time, possibly a few weeks.
Only just moved there.
Okay.
So
We're going to look now at kind of Stanislavski's take on units and objectives. Okay. So what did, from your research, Stanislavski believe about units and objectives? What is an objective?
So an objective is something that the character wants from that particular scene. So, for example, if I wanted to pick up the apple, my objective was to pick up the apple, so I'd walk over there and then I'd pick up the apple.
Okay, so you're thinking about, so each scene can be chunked into several different objectives. There could be, 100 objectives in the whole play. What is the super objective? What is the super objective?
The scene driver. So, so say use her example so she's gone to pick up the apple, but it's the motivation and the movement to pick up the apple.
The super objective is so for example, in Tia's case, her super objective, the whole friendship, the whole bringing her there, is because she wants her to go into the gang.
Yeah.
She's there because she wants to be.
So excellent. Based on the scene that we've looked at, and it's the only scene you've looked at in the play, your super objective is to get Kate into your gang. Okay, to ply her with alcohol and to get her to join your gang, to persuade her to join your gang. Slightly harder for Katie. In this scene, what would you say Katie's overall objective is?
I think she just wants friendship.
So you're saying your objective is to befriend Tia?
Because I feel like even though she's quite positive, she's quite lonely. Because obviously it's quite scary moving to a new place anyways. So she's just trying to find new people.
And the game you play, this whole scene, for a large portion of it, your objectives would be to play this game, isn't it? Because you're trying to get her to play this game quite a lot. Explain that game. What's strange about that game?
So the game is basically she gets Tia, even though Tia doesn't want to play the game because she's obviously never heard of it. But basically the game is that she wants her to pretend like she's in a different world. She's somebody else, but she's still her, but she's how she wants herself to be. She's how she imagines herself to be, like in a perfect world, sort of. And then she has to get. So the game is that Tia has to guess what she's being. So it's sort of like, in a way, she's like saying, I don't imagine myself where I am, and this is what I'd like to be, and I want you to listen to me.
And that kind of ties in with the idea of her being hopeful and her moving to this new place.
Yeah.
And so what do you think, based on that, like I said, you haven't read the whole play yet, so you don't know necessarily what happens to your character. What do you think your super objective for the whole play is? Thinking about that first scene, what do you think it could be?
Where she wants to be, I don't know.
Yeah, but it kind of is, isn't it? And I'd say your super objective is that she almost wants to. She's looking for this life. She's looking for a place. She's looking for somewhere to belong.
She sees it in her head, and then she's trying to get it.
She has all these ideals. So her objective is to, have this, acquire this perfect life, and to make lots of friends. She mentions her mum at one point, doesn't she? In what context in that first scene, where she mentioned about her mum?
So she also says when she's imagining this world. She's like, oh, I'd love that. Just leave my mum. She wants her mum to be in this. She wants her mum to be happy as well.
She wants a happy life with her mum.
Yeah. She wants to see every aspect. Perfect.
In a scene, you can break it down into units. Did you look at units when you did your research on Stanislavski? So what is a unit in itself? It's linked to objectives. So each unit can be broken up into. It's when the way I see it is when a change happens in the script, and you can feel when a change is happening. Is when your objectives change within the scene, and you could chunk a script into units. We're going to have a go at doing a couple of them. I want you to read through the script out loud, and when you feel like there's a change in your character's objective, or you feel like there's a shift in the scene in some way, I want you to stop and think. Okay, so just read. Don't worry about it too much. Just read from the very beginning. Okay, off we go.
I love it here.
Told ya.
So pretty.
See?
I can see for miles and miles and miles.
A7 to look at Flaky Bennett.
I didn't even know you had countryside.
Bet London's one, so.
Don't get this in London. Look at all the hills and all the fields and all those tiny houses dotted about on their own. Imagine living in one of them. I'd love that. Just me and my mum and a big log of fire and...
Fuck knows how you're going to get me back up there.
Oh, Tia, I love it here.
Calm down, there's only a few fields.
I'm so glad you came to Centre.
I think someone's getting a bit tipsy.
I think they are. And then it changes there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. That's the first unit. That's the first block. Okay, what's the line up? What's the line that causes it to change?
We have kind of already done this.
Oh, have you?
Because, well, we spoke to Miss about it, but like every like portion we've got into. So, for example, we named that part. That's the part where they talk about like, looking off into this.
So you've already kind of
we lined it off.
You've lined it off into objective, into units. So you've got the units there. Okay, have you looked at each objective for each unit? What is your objective in that unit? Have you kind of sort of? So what is? You can recap that. What is in that first little section, that first unit you've got there? What did you title it?
We titled it "Looking Off into the Distance."
Looking off into the distance. Okay, good. So that's kind of the title of your unit. Will say. What is your objective in that unit, in that little section? What is your objective, do you think? Or is there several objectives in there?
I think there's many.
You could fundamentally break each line down into an objective. But what is them overall? Because you've kind of blocked it up as a unit. What are you doing in that section?
I feel like she just wants Tia to see how she appreciates her taking to a long race. That's
So
the objective.
Yeah, so you're trying to kind of, you've got lots of energy in that section. You're kind of, from my perspective, you're trying to engage her and really show how much she loves being here and how much she's loved this new friendship. So she's trying to kind of get her on your side and sort of woo her in a way. And in a similar way, you're trying to do it with her, but in a different way, aren't you?
Yeah.
What do you do at the end of that little section, or just before the next section when it changes? What do you do? Physically, what do you do?
Pass her the wine.
Why?
Because I'm trying to get her drunk. So
Yeah.
she can come with me.
So that sort of in that moment on that line, that's when it changes. The objective is to get her drunk. You're thinking when she's talking about the hills, she's talking about things. Thinking, how can I get her more drunk? She needs to drink more. You're not really engaging in too much conversation. Okay, you're kind of sort of a small talk, but you're trying to get her drunk and ply her with alcohol and persuade her. Okay, good. Read on a little bit more. Let's see if there's when did you put the next change? Because you blocked it off. Put that one there.
So we've got this is different. This is just when we was learning each part. So the little lines were just learning, but the big lines are like. So we've got Katie's game. And that's
I see blocked up into little section.
Here, and then we've got like when Katie talks about her boyfriend, and then this part is the what was this part? This is Tia's game,
Yeah.
and then at the end, this is Katie telling Tia that she's angry.
Okay. Yeah. So you've kind of blocked it into bigger chunks. I think with units you can block it into even smaller chunks and it kind of into your sort of little objectives. I've got a sheet there for you, and it's kind of got 6 or 7 questions on there, based on what you kind of need to look at when you're exploring Stanislavski's work. So, Martina, just read the first question, or first point.
What are the broad given circumstances? Include era, location, season, time of day, and specific setting.
Okay, so we've kind of looked at that. Era, I mean, it was only set 4 years ago, so in terms of adapting to that, there's not so much you have to worry about compared to if it was 1800s. You can kind of put yourself in that mind. We've looked at the broad circumstances. We know where you are, what the weather is, what time of day it is. Read question 2, Sid.
What are the specific given circumstances? Include characters and their backstories, previous relationships, if any, the basic contention. What is this all about?
Yeah. So we've discussed that, and we know about previous relationships from just this scene. Not so much your previous relationships. I think that will be explored later in the play. But you, for sure, who is the guy that you were talking about? Sanchez, okay. So whether or not do we think he's real?
I think so.
You think so? Yeah?
I feel like she over-exaggerates what happened.
So yeah, this guy called Sanchez, but
I
maybe there's
definitely
not as
think
much
he's real.
happened. So we know more about your previous relationship. We know from the given circumstances from the Jewel book about your character and why she's where he is. Can you read question 3 for me, Martina?
What do the characters want? We call these wants objectives. Whose objective is the strongest? This person will be the scene driver.
Yeah, and that's a really important point. We've spoken about our wants. Your want to apply with alcohol and get her into your group. Your want to befriend her, and that's someone you can trust and, you know, have fun with. And that's kind of your wants, your objectives for this scene, your super objectives. Who do you think the driver of this scene is? Who's the driver of this scene? Whose wants are more stronger? Do you think?
Yeah.
It's a difficult one because. Why do you think it's a difficult one? Why do you think
I feel
it's?
like I talk a lot more to her. And I feel like I try a lot more.
She, in a way, you are the driver of the scene because you're more stubborn and you keep like rebutting her and stopping her from progressing any further because you want to get your one. But at the same time, you want to have fun and you want to be a friend and you don't want to, you know, be too serious. So you're both kind of, with your, in terms of a driver of the scene, you're both kind of clashing with each other because you're both pushing your wants and objectives against each other. You want to have fun, you want to keep playing this game, you want to get her drunk and move on and talk about her past relationships and her sex life, but you're like butting each other constantly through this scene. Okay, who wins in the end?
No one.
What happens at the end of the scene?
So, Katie basically tells Tia, okay, if you're going to treat me like that, I'm not going to be treated like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then she realises Tia's not really a friend, I don't think.
Do you achieve your objective by the end of the scene?
No.
No. Do you achieve your objective by the end of the scene? No. Because, and that's a really interesting one with the dynamics in the scene, you both have these wants and desires, but there isn't really a driver. You're both driving the scene, you've both got your objectives, and then in the end, neither of you have achieved them by the end of the scene. Okay, maybe later on in the play, some of those objectives are sort of achieved more, and then you'll find, well, when you read the play on, you might have that one super objective with her character, but there are other characters as AJ, you have a super objective with him, and then over that, with the whole play, it's probably even a bigger super objective, and it might not just be doing that, okay? Good, okay, can you read the fourth question?
What is stopping each character achieving their objective? This is the obstacle. Obstacles are usually created by the resistance of the other character.
And that's kind of almost exactly what we discussed there. You're constantly, both of you are resisting each other. You are getting drunk and you are sort of you're drinking, and she's, in that respect, she's succeeding with the objective to get you to drink, okay? The smaller objective, to get you to drink, get you more drunk, definitely.
I do manage to convince her to play the game though.
Yeah? And that's what I'm talking about with the terms of objectives. Sometimes you get to play, but then does she fully play? No. She goes, yeah, okay, and then you go, okay, I've achieved my objective, but she doesn't really, and then she keeps pushing her objective, talk about your sex life, to get you more drunk, to kind of see, and then you're testing each other. You're seeing how innocent and naive she actually is, and whether she can really fit in and work with you. And you're kind of testing her to see, oh, can she be a friend? Is she someone I can be? It's really interesting to think about that. Okay, read the fifth one.
What events happen in the scene which change the situation? An event signifies the start of a new unit within the text.
And that's what we're kind of looking at, the different units. So just read on from, it's amazing how quickly you can work through this, and just these first 5 steps give you so much information to work on in sort of influential forms. Just read on from that bit where you underline that first unit. So you just pass with the alcohol. So your objective at this stage really is to get her drunk, pass to the thing. Okay, and your objective, what's the first line after that bit?
Let's play a game.
Let's play a game. Then your objective becomes, I want to play this game. I want to get her to play this game. That's the real switch in objectives. And having these objectives will really influence your performance. And that kind of links to the through line of actions as well, and it comes on, which we'll look at next week. Okay, Karen, ready?
Let's play a game. Can we? A game I used to really like. And I mean really like. Oh my god, you're gonna love it. It's that game where you pretend like you're on another planet and...
Don't know it.
Yeah, anyway, I'll explain. It's like you're on another planet that's actually really similar to this planet, but it's different in like different ways. And do you know which one I mean?
No.
Trying to think of the name. Anyway, it's easy. You get it. I'll explain it better.
Have some.
Hold on. Let me explain the rules.
Have some
Did
first.
you even have any? You didn't even have any.
I had a massive swig. What are you on about?
I didn't notice.
More than that.
Wait.
Don't be a pussy.
No. Champagne's proper minging.
Innit?
Posh people better love it though.
Should have got White Star.
Posh people ain't got no taste.
Probably would have got 2 2-litre bottles of White Star. Easy.
4 litres of White Star.
You can add shitloads in here and no one suspects you.
So, the rules for it.
Don't want to play a game.
Oh, come on, it's fun. You love it.
Do I look like I can play a game?
Ah, but you don't have to move. So even people in wheelchairs can play, so I'm feeling proper pissed.
And we still got the vodka. I'm going to get so drunk that I don't know which way up the sky is. And the best thing is I can't fall over.
Okay, the rules. You gotta imagine that this is some other planet that's just like this one.
Don't want to imagine I'm on another planet or out else to do with your crap game, acting like some kind of kid, Katie.
No, I'm not. And anyway, I am one. And so are you. So what's wrong with acting like a kid if I am one?
Yeah, but not a 6-year-old. You're acting like a 6-year-old.
No, I'm not. 6-year-olds wouldn't be able to play this. They wouldn't understand it. This game's for teenagers. Bet ya there's millions of teenagers playing this.
Actually, it's interesting because I think your objective almost stays the same. You're still persuading this game. You're still sort of pursuing this game. Yours kind of almost directly goes from trying to get her drunk to what? What is it now at this point? What do you think? Your focus isn't so much on I want to get her drunk. It's what?
Yeah.
What is it now? I want to. Yeah.
There
I want to not play this game. There's a switch, and your objective kind of stays the same. Go off topic, but you're trying to, you know, divert the conversation away from this game, okay? Because it's stopping you from that objective. Because it is just, you start with almost a super objective, to get her drunk, to get her to join your game, okay? That's kind of linked. You want to get her drunk to join the game. What's stopping you from super objective is you can't get her drunk if she's playing this game. So it's the obstacles, okay? She wants to play this game, stopping you from getting her drunk, which is stopping you from getting her to join your game, okay? So now your obstacle is to stop her playing this game and move the conversation on, and you're still going. So whilst it stays the same for you, the unit almost changes at one point for you, and you start talking about her 6-year-old because you get a little bit annoyed. Okay, carry on reading, it's interesting.
Oh, come on, just try it. And if you don't like it, we'll stop and do whatever you want.
Whatever I want?
Yeah.
And you'll do it?
Yeah.
Bring it on, let's go.
Right, so, imagine you're on a planet just like this one, except I'm not explaining this very well.
You're damn right.
Basically, you get the chance to imagine that you're whoever you want to be, and you live your life exactly how you want it to be, and the world is still kind of the same, except the difference is it's somebody else. Well, not exactly somebody else, because you're still you, but different, because you're able to have your life exactly how you want it to be. You get me? So, one person imagines their life being exactly how it would be in a perfect world. That's what it's called, My Perfect World. Honestly, you never played it.
Admit, you've just made it up.
I ain't, I swear. Right, watch. I'm gonna be me, but on a different planet, but similar. And I'm gonna be me, but not, right? And I'm gonna act like I would if I was on that planet, and you've got to work out what I've changed, okay?
If I say yes, would I get over and done with
Tia,
quicker?
come on, give it
Okay, yes, I'll do it. I've got a guess.
what I've changed about my life. Ready? Hello, yes, hi, it's Katie and I, yes. We need another 6 lionesses and 4 lions. Yes, that would be nice. And get me as many giraffes as you can. We got plenty of room here. Some Indian elephants, some African elephants, Bengal tigers, and you've got to guess. Guess what I've changed? And oh my God, do not forget about the baby sloths. Aren't they just adorable? And did you know they make great pets too? They only go to the bathroom once a week. I know. We're gonna need to get some feed for these guys, so make sure you get that. And come on, guess what have I changed?
No,
What will be it?
interesting, let's stop you there. Now, it's gone. When she's agreed to play the game, she's submitted a little bit, your objective will probably change, because it's not so much you're trying to get to play the game. What is it you're trying to do now? It's slightly different.
I'm trying to make her enjoy it, but she doesn't want it.
You're trying to kind of, she's agreed to play the game now, so your objective is not to get her to play the game, it's to engage in it and guess what you're doing.
Yeah.
And even a tiny difference in objective is to make her guess what you're doing is different to make her play the game. Tiny little, a word change in your objective can make a whole performance differently. Right, good. I think actually these units in this are quite long. So what I've got here behind is a list of acting verbs. Now these can be really useful in terms of your delivery and in terms of your objectives. What you can do is you can choose a word from this for each line, okay? And it's amazing how a tiny difference in sort of the variation of words can change a line. So, for example, you just choose one of your lines there.
Wait, no.
Just say one of your lines out loud.
Right. So you're on a planet just like this one, except I'm not explaining this very well.
Okay. I want you to say that as if you are begging her to beg. How would that change that?
Right. So imagine you're on a planet just like this one, except I'm not explaining this very well.
Okay, good. Just that word begging in your head made you change the way you said that first line. Now say that line as if you're encouraging. It's very similar to, it's a similar sort of motivation, but you're encouraging her now.
Right. So imagine you're on a planet just like this one, except I'm not explaining this very well.
Okay, good. Again, now I'm going to try it again. This time, you're going to prod her. Not literally, you're going to prod. Think about how you could do that.
Right. So imagine you're on a planet just like this one, except I'm not explaining this very well.
Okay, really good. You see how interesting? You changed the entirely way you said it first. It's different with that last part of the line. But just by choosing a random word, from this, it can change it completely. Martin, pick a line from your...
Don't care, not doing it no more.
Okay. With that line, I would like you to... try blame. See if that works. Can you put blame onto that? It's almost like, blame. You like say it like I blame her. Okay, it's a funny one. It's a slightly contradiction. Sorry, say it line. Say it line again.
Don't care, not doing it no more.
Yeah. So you're fed up at that. So I don't care. I'm not doing it anymore. You're blaming her for you're getting frustrated. Okay, good. What if you were going to say you were going to... Just trying to find a different... abuse. Abuse. How would that change it?
Don't care, not doing it no more.
Okay. Make it more aggressive with abuse. Think about you actually, with this line, you're trying to abuse her. You're trying to hurt her feelings with it.
Don't care, not doing it no more.
Okay, good. Okay, and each of these lines. So what I would like you to do, you can do this we won't do it now, almost as a homework task, is for each line you can action and you can find a word, you can write down a pencil there, because you'll find, and actually I've got a book I'll bring in next week with loads more words that are more interesting, and it's kind of got thesaurus. But if you choose one of these words at each of your line, you will find that your objectives are clearer, and it all links to that through line of action as well, and it will help you with that. Okay, good.